entrepreneur, and for her today, I'm going to be a doula.
But you can tell us all. Don't limit us.
Oh,
Give us all,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So,
As the spirit leads you.
yeah. So I am a postpartum doula. However, I have a business as an entrepreneur where I sell reshaping body garments. I am also trained and certified to be an etiquette trainer for ages 4 to 16. And I also help people just find their way in developing an entrepreneurial spirit. So whether you join my business or whether you want to be a doula or whether you want to go to school, I try to encourage people, women specifically, to go after whatever it is that they want to go after without any objectives, because we're all going to have objectives, so we just have to figure out a way to overcome them. So becoming a doula, I guess the question is, why did I want to become a doula? When I was younger, I always wanted to be, and I think I was telling me and my best friend was talking about it the other day when we were little. I always say I wanted to be an obstetrician, and I was so young, and I asked her the other day, like, why did I use the word obstetrician? Like, why didn't I just say I wanted to be, most kids just say they want to be a baby doctor or they want to deliver babies. I was using a full word. And so, I just knew I wanted to deal with babies. And so, growing up, life happened. I had my first child at 19. I actually came home with her on my 19th birthday, because our birthdays are 2 days apart. Then after, like 2 years later, I had my second child, and then in between that, there's 10 years between my second child and my third child. So I never got to go to school to become a obstetrician. I did many things, but I let my own self get in my way. So I have no one to blame for me not going to college to become an obstetrician. I have no one to blame when the kids got in school full time, where I could have probably went to school. No one to blame. I just became a product of my own problem. So once I got older and realized that time was no longer waiting on me, and that I needed to do something, I moved here to Houston. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I just met a lady in a garage who was from Detroit, so that was real comforting. I moved here from Michigan, and it was me, my 4 kids, and my husband. Well, last year, my husband passed away. In between, when he initially got sick, is when I met the owner of the doula company that I work for. And we connected. She's from Michigan as well. And we had just became really good friends. I told her, what I was looking to do, how I wanted to kind of go into midwifery, and start my own doula agency. So she said, well, you come on, you work with me, and we'll, you can get a taste of it, see if you like it, and go from there. I'm so glad that I did it that route, because as a woman, like on social media, everybody a boss. Everybody want to be a boss. I'm a boss, boss, boss. And to be a boss, you also have to be able to recognize your strengths and your weaknesses. And you also have to know when to fold them. So starting a doula business at the time my husband is sick, my son is just starting a new school, wasn't a really good idea. And I'm so glad that I was mature enough not to go that route and just continue to work for the boss, because she's a boss in her way, and I became an awesome doula. I perfected the skill. I am a postpartum doula, which means that I deal with the parent and the baby specifically after birth. There are times when I go do labor doulas. I think we had someone here that dealt more with labor, dealing with labor, and every now and then I do that, but I am mostly a postpartum doula, and that's where a lot of my referrals come. When the mom come home and they have to deal with the baby at night or deal with the babies in the day, that's where I come in. So I'm grateful that I took the opportunity to work under someone who was a boss in the area of organization and building her brand with her business. And so I knew that it was not that time for me. So with saying that, what I do is, what I want to encourage, I don't know how many people have kids or who are planning on having kids, but having a doula is very essential. And I don't want you guys to go out here thinking that it's something that is a luxury. It's not a luxury at all. It's really a necessity, because the women that I deal with are sometimes postpartum depressed, which is a real thing, where they can't see no way out. They didn't have this baby, and now they're looking at the baby like, what you gonna do for me? They don't know what to do, and that's really a real thing. It's not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's not a Hispanic thing, it's a woman thing, that you get home with this baby and you just panic. And so if we don't have the right support, or if we feel like, well, I'm a mother and I'm just supposed to deal with this on my own, that can cause a lot of pain, a lot of depression. So I enjoy being that middle person to go in and help. And so what I do is, like, most times it's, I enjoy the night, because basically I give the mothers the opportunity to sleep. So it can, and people are, oh, you watch the baby, why the mother sleep? Like, thinking that that's still a luxury, but it's not. Because imagine a baby having to eat every 2 hours, and they don't have a sleep schedule. So literally every 2 hours around the clock they have to sleep. So when do you sleep? So if you have to stay up all night, or a woman has to stay up all night, or a father has to stay up all night with the baby, then maintain a life at home. What if they have other kids? What if they have a job they weren't able to get 6 weeks off of, and they have to maintain that work-life balance with the child? A doula is necessary to reach out to, because not only are we just there to babysit the baby while we sleep, we encourage the parents, we encourage you as a woman or as a father to know that you're doing your best. It's not anything you're doing wrong. If the baby is not latching on because you're trying to breastfeed, it's not your fault. And so we do a lot of mostly building up of a new mother and letting her know that she is okay, whatever choices she makes. Hey, if breastfeeding is not working out for you, this is not, it's not what you thought it would be. It's okay to say, let's go get the bottle, because I can't do
Are you
it.
sure that doesn't make you less of a mother?
Does not make you less of a mother if you cannot breastfeed. If breastfeed, and I'm really an advocate for that, because we living in a day where, natural and, eating from the earth, and I get that. We all should be doing a healthy thing, but everything is not for everybody. And if you can find a formula that you like, and your baby is taken to that formula in a manner where it's leaving you in a healthier mental state, because that's the important thing. You don't want to be flipping out trying to give the baby a boob. You just don't want to do that. So you got to figure out a way to be okay as a parent, as a mother, with whatever decision you make regarding that child. If you don't want to get your diaper, and it's little things. I've seen mothers freak out as far as, do I get these diapers from Target or Walmart? Like, you wouldn't believe how women panic when a baby comes around. And it's always amazing to me, because when you get there, sometimes I help women during the day, just throughout their day, and how nervous they are just to hold their own baby. And for me, sometimes I have to take a step back, because I'm just used to, oop, come on, I have 4 of them. So it's, and I've been working with them. So for me, it comes as second nature. But for a new mom, I have to remember that this is not second nature to them. And then you have the mother-in-law that may show up, and then their mother may show up, and they're telling you everything under the sun that they used to do for you when you was like, calm down. Just let her do her thing. You got some tissue? No, no tissue. If anybody got tissue, let me know. So yeah, sometimes parents come in as a force, but to help. Thank you. Their intentions are well. Have a new baby. Dad's gone to work. it's just them, they just move to and this is a lot of the situations we as doulas get, you know, dad's gone to work, they move to a new town for work, mom having a baby, the mother-in-laws and the mother is coming in to help, but the help sometimes hinder, because although we are there to encourage, they're just being grandparents, right? So they just, oh, the baby loves me, and here is the baby just goo-goo and gaga with grandmother, meanwhile been up with the mother raising hell for the last week. And so that puts a mother in a mind frame of that they're feeling less because why is this baby so attached to grandmother and not to me? Or why is this baby, they call me the baby whisperer, and I didn't create that, the people of Houston did. And so so I'm aware of that I know different ways to put the baby to sleep and the mother may not know it. So I don't do it in a braggadocious way. I include the mother, you know, do this, rub his face, do that. And so that she doesn't feel less than with taking care of her baby, because we can't stay there forever. And so you don't want a situation where you come in and you do all the work and they're not involved, and then you leave and then they're still there with no tools to work with as far as going on with their life.
Is there one race that embraces doulas more so than other races?
Yes,
Which ones?
Caucasian.
Why?
Okay. So let me
Can you close the door?
let me just be transparent with you guys. And we all basically the same in here. Black people don't want to pay for it. That's just really the bottom line. White people get help. They do. They just do. That baby sneeze, they on the first bus smoking to the hospital. If he need a sleeper or a bed, they got 3 coming from Amazon. If they feel like they going crazy, they got 4 psychiatrists on speed dial. They interviewing 5 to 6 doulas at a time. You don't know how many doula interviews I have been on with white people, and I'm one of 5. Black people don't reach out for help, and they do, and basically Caucasian people are willing to sacrifice eating out for a doula. We don't want to sacrifice getting our nails done. We don't want to sacrifice, and I'm just being honest, I'm not throwing shots at anyone. Hey, I'm be the first person in the beauty supply, the beauty salon to get my nails done. But we are not willing to sacrifice or do the work or work overtime or do all of that to get help. We also never believe we need help.
No, right.
Yes, we don't believe we need help. We don't reach out for help. We don't reach out for mental help. We don't reach out. If you got a best friend, you may be scared to tell her, I don't know what to do with this baby, because she's going to be so opinionated. A white person come home with a baby, everybody and their mother is there. I have 2 older daughters, 24 and 23, who are nannies. The baby, one of my daughters, the baby caught some type of rash or something, had a colic or something. The whole family showed up. She takes the whole family. When I say the whole family, I mean the grandparents, the great grandparents, the auntie, the uncle, the other nieces and nephews showed up for this baby with a rash. They just work together, and I'm not saying this of any myth. I'm saying what I have seen. They work together as units a lot easier and more calmly than we do. And so you have to know that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to reach out for help. It's okay to say, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with this baby. Or I don't know what the hell I'm doing with this man. Or I need help for anything. If I go down my news feed and social media, it's a coach for this, a coach for that, a coach for that, a coach for this, coach this, coach that, coach this, coach that. Everybody's a coach, right? So that means there's a lot of help out there. So even if you're not comfortable with going to your mother or going to your best friend or going to your professor, reach out to somebody for help. And a stranger may be your best bet. But don't keep I don't care if it's dealing with a baby, I don't care if it's dealing with a man, and I don't know why I keep saying dealing with a man, but if somebody is in here dealing with a man, and I'm serious because it's in my spirit and I don't know where it's coming from, and they don't know, and you don't know what to do, and there's nobody in arm's length to help you, reach out to a stranger. Let me tell you, some of the best praise you will get from a stranger. And so if that's what you need to do to get help in your situation, I need you to do it. Because it's important that, especially women, and men too. And I know we have look like 2 men in here. So men too. If you need help, you can't talk to your boy, find you somebody, find a stranger, find a pastor friend said that they were out playing basketball the other day, having a discussion, and one of the guys on the court reached out to him just because of something he heard them say. And he had a full conversation with that young man. Women is young men out here that need help. So check on your brothers, check on your uncles, say hi, say I love you. I have a brother who just recently got out of prison, 10 years in prison. 10 years in prison. You know why? Probably because he didn't get the mental help he probably needed to get before he went. And so now he's in anger management classes 10 years later, after giving 10 years of his young life. So it's important that we get mental health. It's important that you know your body, that you know when something is not feeling right, that you know that, hey, go to ER or call your teacher. I'm going to be really, really transparent right now. I was having a miscarriage, and you know who went to do my D&C with me? Not my husband, not my friend, not my mother, not my father, my professor. I was in medical assistance. Use her. I don't care how tough she is. She did not go through all of this training, heartache, get up to come deal with y'all, tell him to take his hood off 2 times because she don't want to be here. She wants to be a vessel. Use her. Because my professor wanted me to have a D&C when I woke up and my baby wasn't moving.
Are you all familiar with what a DNC is?
So for those who don't know, that is when your baby has died in you and the doctor has to come, you have to go to the hospital and get all the remains of the baby scraped out of you. And that's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do. But what if I didn't have my professor? What if I was too scared to reach out to her? Well, you have to reach out. I'm sure without a shadow of a doubt she'll be there for you. So you have to know when there's something that you can't or don't want to do alone, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do anything alone. You can reach out to people, and sometimes it's a stranger, sometimes it's the security guard in the parking lot, whoever. People want to hear. People will listen to you. People will listen to you. And don't be dismissive from who information is coming from. Listen to people. Listen to people, because a lot of people got where they are because they've been through some stuff. They've been through some stuff. So you have to know, I wanted to go back to being, familiar with your body and knowing your body and knowing what something is off, so that you know when to reach out for help in regards to your health. So get familiar with your body. Do what you gotta do to know what you need to know in regards to what's going on with you.
Did you know you were having a miscarriage?
No, I didn't.
How many months were you?
I was 4.5, 5 months. I was just after the fact that we found out what it was gonna be. It was, so maybe about 24 weeks, something like that.
And how
So
many?
I basically was put down because people can deliver at 24 weeks. So, yeah, I was put out. What was the question?
What was the biggest challenge with the pregnancy? What was that process like?
I think it was more mental. It wasn't as physical as I thought it would be. It was more mental for me because you felt the baby for 4 months and move around and you talk to it and you named it, and you know, kids know, my 2 youngest knew, or my oldest knew that there was a sibling coming, and so when you don't have that just be taken away from you, that's not an easy thing mentally to do. No, I didn't get professional. I've never gotten for professional help. Let me just say that. I've never gotten professional help as far as psychiatry is concerned, but I do have a plethora of mentors in a lot of different areas that are close to me, that I definitely can talk to and walk through things and get the help that I need to maintain a healthy life. But yeah, the hardest part of that was the mental part, the part of the father, my husband not wanting to be a part of that. He wasn't happy about the pregnancy. We had 4 kids prior, and so he really wanted no part of that pregnancy. And I'm a firm believer of, you know, mentally, that was just a lot of stress on me. So I don't know why Mother Nature did what she did, but I do know that God won't give you more than you can handle. So, you know, things happened the way they needed to happen in regards to that. But that was a very hard thing to cope with, and I did have my professor who walked with me through that journey for about 6 months after that. And I had a best friend who had just recently lost a child, and so I was able to lean on her a lot for that. So you do have to be able to lean on people, and when you're leaning on those people, know that at some point you're going to have to fill their cup back up too, because it's one thing to empty somebody's cup, but you have to be that friend that knows how to fill it back up too, and be there for them when they need someone for them. So always be the friend, you know, you want to be. That's not a cliche, that's real life, because we need each other. So always be willing to fill somebody's cup up, even when you think, you know, my best friend, I always think that it's nothing she needs, you know, because she's always been in a good place financially, and, you know, I always think that it's nothing she needs, but there's always something she needs. Always something somebody needs. So, you know, always be there and be willing to fill somebody's cup up for them.
Can I stop you right there? Any questions, thoughts, reflections, anything you all want to add or ask?
Is it possible that you feel like a doula when you need a doula, or because doulas know so much about what they're doing, they would get to that point to where they be there?
Oh my God. So the lady who owns our doula company, her name is Latina, just had a baby. And Latina had a doula. And she needed a doula, okay? The day she went in labor, she didn't have no bag yet, because you think you know so much. And she is the queen of doulas. You think you know so much. The bed wasn't put together, the bag wasn't packed, and she was texting me. I'm like, how did you get to this place right now? So yes, she had a doula. She had a home, a water birth. And doulas need doulas, yes. Nobody is beyond help. And they are the ones who need it the most. Because they think they know everything, and it's the littlest things that we miss out on. I tell my oldest daughters who haven't had kids yet, when y'all get, I just want to be a grandmother. I don't want to be a doula when y'all have a baby. They want me to be the doula, the nanny, the everything. But no, yes, doulas, that was a great question, yes.
It's just like asking the therapist named therapist.
Yeah.
Therapist named there, because
Yeah.
pastors need pastors.
Yeah,
Whatever
we
field
all
you're
need
in,
guys.
You never get to a place where you don't need somebody to pour back into you, what you're pouring back into, what you're pouring out to everybody else. Go ahead, Adrian.
I appreciated you, like, talking about your care. She wants to have like around the 4 or 5 month period, and she like, she called me and she was like, come to the hospital with me. I'm like, why? And she's like, cause I don't feel anything. So we went to the hospital, and doctor told her that it died a week ago.
Oh, yeah.
So she had DNC also. So I was like, I was there for her with that.
That's good. And see, that was a whole week. And that's what I mean by know your body, because I knew, like, every morning I would feel her do something. And that morning when she woke up when I woke up and I didn't feel it, I knew something wasn't right. So I immediately called for help to go to the hospital. But yeah, you have to know your body. You get pregnant, you monitor those movements. You know, pay attention to that.
Did you hold the baby afterwards?
No.
Did you give birth to the baby?
It was a slight birth. I was sedated. I was sedated. Everything happened without me having to do anything. So it was small enough for them to go and get her. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. But some people do have to give birth to a deceased child. That's a real life thing. And there are, I'm actually thinking about going into, there are after death doulas. Yeah,
And I asked the question because you all know I was a chaplain for the labor and delivery unit at Emory Hospital in Atlanta. And normally after the babies had passed, the mothers would hold the baby. Sometimes we would have to go down to the morgue to get the babies and dress the babies up because the mothers wanted to be with the babies. Then we would also do the footprints as a christening for the babies, even though the baby had already passed. So that's why I asked.
yeah, no, I didn't know.
You did, so that was your choice.
That was my choice, yeah.
And it's hard.
Yeah,
It's hard looking at the baby that's either not fully developed, or just knowing that you have to depart with this baby. It's hard. It's
Yeah,
hard.
that's
Hard.
hard.
It's hard. Somebody else at the line?
So when you speak on like knowing your body, I know we watched like a video in class where like this lady just knew something wasn't right with her, and when she called 911, they told her to just like wait. So how do you convince somebody? Like, cause like you know you better than you know you. Like, how do you convince somebody that you know something is not wrong? Because there's like the stereotype that black women are not supposed to be strong, that you don't really know what's wrong with you, and that you really gonna be okay. Like, how do you convince somebody that you're really not okay when you know you're not okay?
You just keep telling them. And meanwhile, while you're on the phone with them and they hesitate and sending help, you try to be calling for other help. You get the help you need. If you know something is wrong, 911 gonna show up. She may be questioning, but they'll show up. So as long as you call for help, that's all the convincing you need. You let them know what you're feeling and what's wrong with you. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, don't be so strong. I heard what you said, that black women, yeah. I know we got a lot of weight on our shoulder, right? Especially, I don't know what's going on in this day and age. You don't have to be that strong. You can be strong enough to know when you need help. That's how strong you gotta be. Be strong enough to know when you need help. You ain't gotta carry the world on your shoulders. That you don't have to do that. Just be strong enough to know when you're not strong enough. And it's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Any other questions?
Now, Erica, I saw in your bio, your son has autism, or did I make that up?
No,
Okay.
that's what you saw. Yes, I have a 10-year-old boy who has autism.
Can you speak on that? Of course, this is human development, so we've been talking about development, so they had to do observation of children at a daycare. So can you speak about that process and learning of having autism and what that's been like for you as a mom?
It's been fun. It's been interesting because my son is hilarious. And so again, paying attention to little cues when he was younger, I want to say like between one and two, I just noticed that he just was a crier. I noticed that before, like from birth, he just cried. And we lived in Michigan when he was born. And his dad, to get him to stop crying, he would just take him like out on the porch in the middle, because he was born in October. And that would calm him down. So air would calm him down, the coldness of the air would calm him down. And then when he turned about 1, I just started noticing like little picky, like he wouldn't eat a lot and he was still crying all the time. And I'm like, yeah, something ain't, right. And so his feet were like this. Like they were away, not so pigeon-toed, but they were just shaping differently. And I actually took him to the ER for that. When I tell you I was laugh at the house, because I'm like, Mom, I like the way his feet looking. I don't like the way, and his dad, my daughters, they laugh, my friends laugh. Are you going to take this boy to the ER because you don't like the way his feet looking? That is why I took him to the ER, because I didn't like the way his feet were shaping. She began to ask me questions just about him, and as I told her, she was asking me all these probing questions about his meals, how he behaved with other children, da-da-da-da. So she referred me to see a specialist for him. She was like, I think he may have some type of, she called it a growing disorder. They will call autism all types of things when they're not really sure what it is. So she was calling it a growing disorder. When really it made, the better word probably would have been a developmental disorder. But, so I took him to see, and he wasn't even 2 yet when I took him. I took the referral and I went where she told me to go. And they did some other tests, and they had, because he was so young, not able to speak, in barely 2, they weren't ready to diagnose autism, but they knew there was some developmental issues going on. And so once he got older, maybe by 3, he still wasn't talking, and then that's when he was classified as autism. But it's been an interesting journey because I did not once get sad. Let me be honest, maybe for a day or so, I'm like, what the heck? Like, and that was more so because he was a boy. And so that I was buried with the stigmatic of a father not being able to be normal with his son. It wasn't really me as a mother. I was really worried for his dad, like, okay, is he gonna be able to play football? Is he gonna be able to do this? Is he gonna, this is my first son. I had all these girls trying to get a boy. I finally got a boy, and now something is wrong. So I dealt with that maybe a couple, I promise you I didn't sit in it more than a week.
Did you know it was autism before they diagnosed it?
No, I didn't even know what autism was before they diagnosed it. Yep, I had no clue. I did a lot of research. And then I just dove into Facebook was just starting out kind of back then. He was born in 2008. And I went into a bunch of autism Facebooks. And it is a different journey. No, he don't play football. He don't want to play no sports. He don't want to, he doesn't eat what we eat. For the last 10 years, I've had to make him his own meal because he doesn't eat what he eats. But what we did do was we didn't have any pity parties with him. He don't get any passes. And I met a lady who's become a really good friend in those special trainings that I had to go through when he was early on. And she was like, why he started to talk faster, and she just couldn't believe, because we talked to him in that house like we talk to each other. And my household is a very open, free household. Everybody say what everybody want to say. We cuss. We cuss. We just, and that's how he was raised. He was raised with people talking to him, and so in turn, he talked quicker than most thought he would. He's in a regular class now. He gets pulled for a special. He just turned in a form to be the class representative. This coming from a boy who didn't talk till he was almost 4. And so he still is a boy of little words. He don't say much, but when he say it, you know what he's talking about. He's real specific, intelligent. He watches YouTube like nobody's business. He knows, oh my God, he's awesome. It's an awesome journey. But and if you look for signs that I could say to look for as a young child, especially in boys, because autism is more prominent in boys than it is girls. So you look for picky eating signs or a certain way they want their toys lined up or put together, or if they're taking like a special interest in computer, video, stuff like that, don't really want to be bothered with, other kids. My son, even as a small boy, you could put 3, 4 other boys in a room with him and he would pay them no attention because they just like to be alone, not giving good eye contact. We're still working on him with that because he still doesn't give good, very eye contact. He has the biggest eyes, so when we get on his nerves, he's like, look at us. He's like, like, I'm looking, but the eyes just buck out. So, not good eye contact, being uncomfortable around crowds. If you have a young man who's really uncomfortable in crowds, we would take him to the grocery store and he would just freak out. So, and not wanting to wear certain clothes. He would show up at the party, at the gathering, and get stripped to the floor. He hated wearing clothes. All our pictures, you know how Facebook has them, all our pictures, he don't have a shirt. So we just got used to it. We wouldn't be thinking everybody cute, and he'd be sitting there in a diaper with no shirt on and no pants because he did not want to wear certain clothing. And to this day, he doesn't wear any like jean type of pants because it's something with that zipper and the jeans that he just don't like. So all of his pants have elastic in it. So when they have sensory to clothing, just pay attention to little things like that with young men, girls too, but mostly young men.
Well, I have an autistic cousin. She's 8, but like she's kind of the size of like a teenager already. And her mother is like still in denial that she's autistic, so she doesn't want to get help. She feels like she can handle it herself. But in all actuality, she can't. She's nonverbal. She does not like to be touched. She understands like simple direction, like no, but she really doesn't care for it. Like she doesn't care to listen to anybody tell her what to do or what not to do. She only likes to eat chicken nuggets and like snacks.
Yeah.
She doesn't like to eat any other foods.
Yeah.
She still wears a diaper. And like she misbehaves a lot. Like she'll take the poop out of her diaper and like smear it over the walls, and they think that that's okay for her to do. Like they don't want to get her anybody to help her because they feel like they can handle it.
Yeah, and child therapy is what she needs. She needs to, if you can be that ear for her, that voice for her, to just let her know, just take her to get evaluated. It doesn't hurt to get evaluated. And we not did any it's called early intervention. Well, she's 8 now, but she does need some type of intervening, and that's what we did when he was young. It was called early intervention, and that prevented all the poop on the wall and all of that. Now he is the chicken nuggets. That's a good sign because he will only eat chicken. He will only eat chicken and pizza and snacks. So he is overly developed for a 10-year-old. So we try to make sure that he gets very active because they don't eat. Most autistic kids won't pick up a vegetable or a fruit, or it may be just one fruit that they like, but they like a texture of like crunchy things, sugary things, starchy things. So most autistic boys and girls are heavier than normal kids. They're very heavy. Or you have the opposite. My brother's stepson is autistic, but he's the opposite. He eats nothing but vegetables. He'll eat everything. He eats it in massive doses, but he eats a lot of fruits and vegetables, but he won't eat like a lot of meat. So it's real. Everyone is different. None of them will be the same, but they will have like same character traits. Did you have a question back there?
I think it was about what he eats.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he eats a lot of starchy, like pizza. He will only eat cheese pizza. We can get pepperoni. He sometimes take it off, sometimes don't. Chicken, and it's the driest part of it. He likes the leg and the skin, but it has to be like crispy, dried out. Like, so I do it in the air fryer to eliminate all that. I'm glad they came out with air fryers because we were frying the chicken and that was just a lot of grease. So chicken and crackery stuff, like crackers, cookies, stuff like that, and then gummy things. He likes that, but yeah, real picky eater. And he will try, people are like, well, let him try, and they don't get all, you cannot force a real, true picky eater. I know sometimes we say, oh, we're a picky eater. No, a real, true, autistic picky eater, you'll make them sick. They'll gag and throw it up if they don't really want to eat it. Sometimes we'll be like, try a piece of corn, and he'll like take the littlest bite of it and be like, oh, okay, let me try.
Clerical, we have 5 minutes left. Are there any other questions or thoughts or comments that you all want to share with her before we wrap up? Is there anything, go ahead.
I have one. Did you ever like experience postpartum?
Well, that's a good question. I probably, not with the younger two, but I probably have postpartum. That's probably what it was with my older two. Just because I was so young, in a weird place in life, doing what I wanted to do and not really listening to anybody. But I probably was, if I really think hard about it. And with my older two.
And you said your older two are 24?
24 and 23 and 25.
Was postpartum as popular or as talked about back then?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. So whatever it was, that's probably what it was. I was mad, I was happy, I was sad, I was scared. So it probably was postpartum. Now I'm glad that we're able to have these conversations so that this generation knows to get help when, you know, it's okay to cry, but if you can't get out the bed, you might want to call somebody. Anybody, I'm going to leave my phone number for anybody. You can call me anytime, day, night. If you need to just talk, shoot the breeze.
Okay.
Yeah. Bradford is area code 469 400 8995.
Or if you all need to refer somebody to her.
Yeah, I have cards. They're my body shaping cards, but I'll give them all one.
Can you say one more time?
469 400 8995. I don't care what you want. Just call me. Don't be alone. You're not alone.
Yes, July.
I guess I have.
This is spoken from Dallas.
Oh no, my best friend lives in Dallas.
Because area code.
Yeah, my best friend lives there.
July.
I just wanted to say that last week you spoke about how like people like to they rather pamper themselves than deal with their problems, and that just made me think about what she said. Like, why would I pay for a doula when I know I need help, but I'd rather get my nails done? Like, it's like an in denial thing. Like, you know you need help, but you don't want to get help, but you rather cover up the fact that you need help with things that you don't really need.
So yeah, and just to give you a price range, most doulas, if you just want somebody to be with their in birth, it ranges anywhere from between $700 and $1,000, and that's for your whole pregnancy. Now I see your face, and I'm gonna call you out, okay? If for 9 months, add up how much your manicure is for 9 months. Your manicure and your hair. So if you add up your manicure and your hair for 9 months, you're spending more than $700. So it's just about priorities.
And I don't get my nails done, but when my girlfriends get their nails done, they're like, they're paying $70-$90 for their nails. I'm like, what?
So do that 5 times.
That's a lot of money for nails.
Yeah, so it's just about what you want for yourself. You know, down to having a housekeeper. And I saw something on Facebook where people were down and somebody because she had a housekeeper. Oh, you got a housekeeper? No, a housekeeper may be $80. I would rather not eat out for 2 weeks and have a housekeeper. So it's just about what you want. Yeah, your priorities and what you want. We can live like everybody else lives. You know what I mean by that? We can live like they live. You just have to prioritize the way they do. Something like that.
Okay, so thoughts, comments, reflections, appreciations. Can somebody share one thing that you all take away from Erica's presentation? She shared a wealth of information with us. I know I learned a lot. Yes, no. Okay, and then I want to hear somebody else outside of Asia and July. Go ahead.
Patience, like you have to like put yourself in the person shoes. Like with my sister, like I didn't understand why she called me instead of her husband, but now that you're talking about it, it's like now I understand.
Let her call you and don't ask why. Just let her call you.
And is it true that men are just not equipped to deal with?
There's some they just not. They just
Even
are
on their
not.
best day.
On their best day, they don't wanna deal with what we deal with. And so you just be. just
And I don't
let
think
it-
they're wired to deal with stuff like
Yeah.
we deal with it.
And don't force it, cause if they wanna deal with it, they will. If they can't, they know when they can't.
And don't take it personal.
Do not take it personal. Do not take it
Jelani?
personal.
I just wanted to say thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for having me.
We love guest speakers. Well, I love guest
Tiara, one thing you'll take away? I need to hear from at least 3 more people, so get your answers ready. Go ahead.
I guess the part that you told Aiden to just be there for your sister, because my sister is like, well, she's one now, but, and like sometimes the baby dad, he's not always like, willing to help us, like, to do something. If it's his first child, it's her second child. So it's like,
Somebody else want to? Somebody else willing to share? Go ahead.
I'm really interested in autistic children
Mhm.
and like what they need. Seems like they just live in another realm.
They do. Have you watched the show on Netflix, Atypical?
Yeah.
My favorite show.
And that is one of the few shows about autism that hits the nail on the head. That is I laugh all the time because that's my 14-year-old, and I say all the time that those two are they're the proteges on that show. That is the one show that hits the nail on the head. But you have my number. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to give you any type of information. If I don't have it, I'll point you
And
to the right
also too, I have some information because I study herbalism.
Mm.
There's some things that they give to autistic children that are making them like speak more,
Yeah, that's
like
good.
natural things.
Yeah.
So I can message you that as well.
That's great. I'm all for natural things when it comes to autistic kids. I'm not a big advocate on altering who they are naturally. So if someone was to tell me, hey, put this on here and maybe he'll put him on this and maybe he'll look at you. I probably wouldn't do that because I don't want to alter his natural personality. And I want him to just be the way he is. And that just causes me as a parent to work harder, right? So I'm all for that.
back on the topic of autism, my aunt, she just had a baby, well, baby's 1 now, but noticing like little signs of like the later development. Like my mom would tell her things, my grandma would tell her things, our other aunts and uncles will like tell her things like they notice, but she's not quite understanding. It's like Jelani said, she might be in denial.
Is
She's
she,
like, "Oh, no,
does it
she's
appear
fine."
that she's offended?
Yes, and the baby was premature, so I mean,
So that could
It's
just
like a
be
lot of
some
signs.
premature delays. Sometimes when babies are premature, they do have developmental delays, but that still will cause for intervention. So, it's, when you're dealing with moms and their kids, that's a really sensitive area, a very sensitive area. So it's kind of a catch-22 where you may find a way to present some information, but you can't be offended if she doesn't receive it well, because you're talking about a mom and a baby.
And that's a reflection, most parents take it as
A reflection of something that they're
I
doing
did
wrong.
something, and that's why my
Right.
baby is
Even though you're getting the education to know that there is nothing that they did wrong, it's still hard for a parent to take that.
All right, give Erica a round of applause.